Russia entered the war believing one advantage would guarantee victory: air power. For years, the Kremlin has invested heavily in one of the largest military aviation forces in the world, with hundreds of airfields spread across the vast territory of Russia and fleet numbering close to thousands combat aircraft. Military planners in Moscow were convinced that the skies would belong to them from the very beginning of the invasion. The expectation was simple: Ukrainian resistance would collapse under overwhelming aerial pressure, key military targets would be destroyed quickly, and Russia would establish complete control of the battlefield. But what really follows the script written in headquarters? Instead of being overwhelmed, Ukraine began developing a different approach. Rather than matching Russia's aircraft for aircraft, Ukrainian forces increasingly relied on inexpensive unmanned systems, intelligent driving operations, and long-range precision strikes. What started as a defensive necessity gradually evolved into a strategy capable of reaching deep inside Russian territory. By the end of May, the strategy produced one of the most remarkable operations of the war. On the night of 30th May, explosions shattered the calm around the Taganrog aviation complex in Russia's Rostov region. What followed was more than just another drone attack. It was a direct challenge to one of the assumptions that had guided Russian military planning since the invasion began. They believed that critical aircraft positioned hundreds of kilometers from the front were beyond Ukraine's reach. The aircraft targeted that night were not ordinary assets. Among them were Tu-142 long-range maritime patrol and anti-submarine aircraft, strategic platforms that play an important role in Russia's naval aviation network. For years, several of these aircraft had remained inactive, sitting inside facilities associated with the Beriev aviation complex, a site long regarded as one of Russia's most important aerospace centers. Located near Sea of Azov, the complex has historically served as major hub for maritime aviation projects and specialized military aircraft. A distance from the battlefield created a sense of security among Russian commanders, who viewed the facility as a protected, rare area location. That confidence would prove costly. Satellite imagery in the weeks before the strike showed unusual movement around the facility. Aircraft that had remained largely untouched for years were repositioned closer to maintenance zones, hangars, and operational areas. Analysts tracking activity in the region noted that the changes, but few expected what would happen next. Russian planners appear to believe that relocating the aircraft within the facility and keeping them far from front line would be enough to guarantee their safety. Ukraine had other plans. According to Ukrainian sources, the operation involved low-observable attack drones designed to evade detection by radar and electronic warfare systems, flying at low altitude and exploiting gaps in Russian defensive coverage. The drones reportedly penetrated deep into protected airspace before reaching their targets. When the attack unfolded, multiple military and logistical sites across Russia came under pressure. Simultaneously, Taganrog was among the most significant. Video footage and thermal imagery circulating afterward appeared to show major fires engulfing aircraft on the ground. Reports indicated that at least 2 Tu-142 variants were struck, including a rare Tu-142MR communications relay aircraft. The detail attracted particular attention from military observers. Unlike standard maritime patrol variants, the Tu-142 MR performs a highly specialized mission. Equipped with systems designed to communicate with strategic submarines operating far from shore, it serves as part of Russia's broader command and control architecture. Its most distinctive feature is an extremely long trailing antenna used for transmitting very low frequency signals capable of reaching submarines beneath the ocean surface. In a crisis, these aircraft can help maintain communication with elements of Russia's nuclear submarine fleet operating in remote regions. For that reason, the destruction of even a single aircraft of this type carries consequences beyond the loss of a conventional military asset. The financial impact was also substantial. Defense analysts estimate that a standard Tu-142 can be worth tens of millions of dollars, while specialized variants equipped with unique communications equipment may be considerably more expensive. Combined losses from the operation could represent well over $100 million in damage. Yet the cost is only part of the story. The larger problem for Moscow is replacement. Production lines of these Cold War era aircraft ended decades ago. Every airframe destroyed is effectively irreplaceable. Unlike modern systems that can be produced again, many of these aircraft represent a shrinking fleet whose numbers continue to decline due to age, maintenance challenges, and combat losses. As a result, a successful strike forces Russian commanders into a difficult dilemma. Do they keep valuable aircraft close enough to support operations accepting the risk of Ukrainian attacks? Or do they move them further east or deeper into Russian territory, sacrificing operational efficiency in exchange for security? Neither option is ideal, and that is precisely why attacks like Taganrog matter. They are not simply tactical victories. They force an opponent to rethink how it deploys some of its most valuable military assets. For Ukraine, the message was clear. Distance alone is no longer protection. For Russia, the attack raised a far more troubling question. If strategic aircraft can be reached hundreds of kilometers behind the front line, where exactly is the safe zone?